editing is what took the longest. And I learned a huge, valuable lesson with editing. You can sit down in one day and do the best that you can do. But once that film starts mulling around in your head, you began to think, I could do this one a little bit better. And every single time I did it, now I don't know how other people work, but I have a tendency, when I know somebody's going to watch the film, my mind, suddenly I'm looking at the film as if I'm looking at it through somebody else's eyes. How are they seeing it? I do the same thing with my writing. When I know somebody else is going to read what I've written, suddenly I'm reading it with a more critical eye. So I began to see not flaws, but I could see where it could get tightened up. I could see where it could be cut just a little bit better. And that took me a long time. And there are also things that happen where I get the whole thing put together and there's a section here or there where I'm not satisfied with it, but I don't know what to do. So I get the whole thing edited together, I post it on YouTube, I tell everybody, hey, go click this link, and I get some really good positive feedback, and then about a month later I realize, oh, now I know what I can do. And then I go back and I start cutting it again. And for example, the whole opening sequence, the first time I did it, was a shot of the sky, a shot of trees, a tree stump, and then I did what I call a roller coaster pan, where I pan across this table and you see the beer bottles, the empty beer bottles and stuff, and then it kind of does this roller coaster dip to the ground, and then it straightens out again and you go into the shed where he is at. For some reason that never sat well with me. I loved that whole thing. That was something I learned from Joss Whedon, but I was never satisfied with it, but I didn't know how to fix it until later on. I went out and I reshot that whole thing. The other thing was, I had always wanted an abandoned house at the beginning of the film to establish where he's at, whether it's a shed or an abandoned house or something. And it took me a while to find the right abandoned house. There were actually like 3 or 4 of them that I saw around town, but there was one that really stood out to me. And one day I actually went out and I did shots of it, and it worked so much better. The power lines clip, I had to redo that one because I didn't like it. But I just learned a really big lesson till finally I got it to a point to where I sat back in my chair and I said, this is it. This is the film. I've got it. And there was almost like a relaxation, you know, like a weight was lifted off. I was finally done with it.